What up? It's Fallen. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different video than my past two. Excuse me. So in set 14 we have a lot of new portals, and I think a lot of people are thinking about portals in the wrong way or not necessarily playing to their best of ability in certain portals. So today I'm just going to be talking about every portal and sort of what I'm thinking about playing from specific portals. Um, Yeah, so let's get into it. So first off, we have Artifact Anvil Portal. So the Artifact Anvil Portal is especially good for playing reroll compositions. The reason being is you get essentially a second item right off the bat with your Artifact Anvil. It also is giving an extra strong item per se to one unit. So compositions that revolve around one unit carrying are reroll compositions. So this basically makes your one unit even stronger. So if we take a look at the best artifact item holders, you have Anima Visage Cho'Gath, Shyvana Leona, whatever tanks. But the real big ones are, Blighting Jewel on Fiddle, Death's Defiance on Graves Rengar, um, Gambler's Blade TF Vayne, um, Infinity Force Gravesed, Ludens on Draven and Vagar. This is actually also really good on Brand. Prowler's Claw Rengar. So Sniper's Fiddle. There's a lot of really broken combinations, and if you hit one Artifact Anvil, if you hit Portable Forge off an Augment, it's really good to pair two different artifacts together, or maybe stacking. So two Snipers on Fiddle is obviously really good. Things like that. So those are things that I tend to think about when playing the Artifact Anvil portal. Um, I think playing reroll is your best bet, but it's also important to note that, in some situations you can't play reroll, or Rengar's three-way contested. In cases like those, you're better off playing an uncontested line, um, and securing placements. The same can be said for component anvils. It allows you to get to a three-item carry faster, so it's really good for reroll. When you spike on a Rengar 2, it's really good if he has three items to tempo you through stage 3, and you can use that gold from your tempo to hit faster and push levels. So Crab Rave is also really good for reroll. Now, Crab Rave and Scuttle Puddle, I tend to think about similarly. In both of them, you're getting a lot of extra gold, which is going to allow you to hit your reroll comp faster ahead of tempo. And since you're hitting it ahead of tempo, it's going to allow you to push levels faster and really cap your board. Um, that being said, in Crab Rave, you don't really want to take gold augments. So something like Raining Gold would be very bad. That being said, an augment like Level Up would be really good because it's allowing you to use the extra gold you're gaining from the portal to um, more efficiently, essentially. So the gold that you're getting all this extra gold from Crab Rave, and taking an augment like Level Up or Hedge Fund is allowing you to hit breakpoints faster, push levels faster, um, and cap your board much higher. So augments that allow your gold to be more efficient are really good, but augments that give you straight gold or econ are really bad. Trade sector isn't very good. Um, Too much value isn't very good, but something like Starry Night would be pretty decent because it's going to allow you to hit your reroll comp way ahead of tempo, with the extra gold that you have, especially. Same sort of idea with Gold Sub. Also, it should be noted in Crab Rave, it's usually good to play carries that have some sort of healing for the late game. Obviously, sometimes you're not in a position to play like, Zed or a melee carry, but having some sort of healing on your board is really good because it allows you to beat the crab later. I've seen a lot of people lose to crab and just die, even though their board might have been incredibly strong. It just wasn't strong against the crab specifically. Um, Gold Sub, really good with level up, hedge fund, augments like that. Um, and you can play reroll or tempo fast 8 in Gold Sub. It's really dependent on your spot. It's not as sort of high cap as Crab Rave, but I mean it can be very high cap if you get some really big gold drops. One thing about gold sub is you can wait to see other people pick their augment, and see how much gold they get on the first portal. It's a small little optimization, but if you're getting dropped 1 gold on the portal at 2-1, it's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't take hedge fund here. Whereas if you're getting dropped 20 gold at the portal at 2-1, oh wow, hedge fund is looking really good here. So that's something to think about. Um, Golden Gala is sort of just like a normal game of TFT. There's nothing that's particularly great or bad. I mean, it's just TFT with gold augments. So yeah. Augment rounds that are moved earlier into the game. So in this hack portal, it's important to not become overzealous. Like occasionally you get all your augments on 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, and it's important to think about down the line what you're going to need because it could be somewhat tempting to take, oh wow, I'll take double econ and just go fast 9, like I'll go or fast 8, fast 9, fast 10. I'll have so much extra gold on the lobby. But you do need combat, and down the road scaling augments aren't necessarily a bad thing here. Um, that being said, I think it's important to remember to diversify your augments between combat and econ. And I do see people sometimes forget that and start stacking econ or stacking combat. And yeah, it's important to remember, items, econ, and combat are all important, uh, even in these hack augment rounds. That being said, occasionally, stacking econ can be good if you hit hedge fund level up. I mean, you're going the fastest level 10 of all time, and if you hit some crazy combat augment as well, I mean, it could be really good. But I would be wary of taking double econ, especially in portals like this where people sometimes get baited. Um, so egg armory. So I think in egg armory, um, playing your strongest board is important, especially in the early game in portals like egg armory, because losing in stage 4 isn't necessarily bad because it allows you to hatch your egg faster. So if you have 100 health going into stage 4, you might even be looking at a 13 round egg. Um, oh, let me pull up the egg chart. So here we have all of the. Oh, this is golden egg. Whoops. Here we have all of the cash outs. So 4 round egg, 1 cost, 2 cost, 3 cost, 4 cost, 5 cost, 17 gold. Those are most likely completed item anvil, unstable components, um, and there's a 10% chance you get a spatter frying pan. So I think the 4 round cash out in general is pretty bad. I mean, if you're really trying to save placements and you're going fast eighth, I could see you taking this. I think the 9 round egg is the most consistent if you're in a decent spot. Um, and if you 10 streak to stage 4, you might as well just take the 13 round. I mean, completed anvil and masterwork upgrade. I mean, ZZ Rod and 20 gold is really not good. I would probably take component anvils and a spatter frying pan over this. So that's something to be wary of as well. You might hit a ZZ Rod and 20 gold, which I really don't think it's probably comparable to 2 component anvils and a spat. It really just depends on what you're playing. Like if you can use an emblem, then the 9 is probably better than the ZZ Rod. But you can really high roll on the 13. 2 artifact anvils, that's literally 2 gold augments. 3 component anvils, a spat, frying pan, 4 gold. Tactician item, and 2 components. I think that's a radiant item. 2 5 costs, duplicator, and 10 gold. And they're tailored 5 costs. So yeah, I think 9 and 13 are both situational. If you really need a spatter frying pan, if it allows you to cap out with 10 anima or something like that, I would take the 9 round, even if my spot is good enough to take the 13 round, because you're more likely to hit the spatter frying pan. So these are things to think about. Also, your HP is obviously the most important thing to consider when choosing your egg, but it I'll include all the links down below of where you can look at egg cash outs and artifact holders, etc. Um, Yeah, so Egg Armory, stage seven. If the game gets to stage seven, I mean, it's probably not going on much longer. And in this case, you might want to take the four round. Um, if it gets to the end of stage seven, it's probably not going much longer. Extra augment in stage four, stage two, stage three, stage five. I think in stage four, most of the time you're taking combat, probably team wide combat. Um, at this point in the game, econ's probably not going to do that much for you, and if it is, you're either in a really good spot or in a really bad spot. So, extra augment in stage two. Again, I think stacking combat is better when you have these extra augments. It allows you to hit more broken combinations and things like that that you generally don't get to do with stacking economic augments. Um, extra augment stage three, sort of the same idea with all of these fourth augments. I think also in portals with extra augments, taking something like Wandering Trainer is really good because if you hit, let's say, Anima Spat um, on your trainer, it allows you to hit 10 Anima on 9 or 10 Street Demon, and you have an extra augment to hit another Anima Spat. So I think that's something to take into consideration if you hit one of these augments that allow you to go for incredibly high capped boards. Next, you have the Golem Armory. Honestly, this one is just really straightforward. I really don't see anyone. I don't think I've ever seen anyone take the gold Golem. And if you're taking it, you probably already won the game and are just flexing. In reality, the it's you want to take the frontline or backline Golem, depending on what your board needs, whether it needs more DPS or more frontline. If your frontline's getting melted, take the frontline Golem. If you're not killing boards fast enough, or if you're just not doing enough damage, then take the backline one. Yeah. Hacked Lucky Shops. Once for Sage, a Lucky Shop tailored to your trades can appear. I think this is really good with reroll. I also think it's really good with vertical traits. So if you're playing like um, Anima Squad, it'll usually allow you to hit an Aurora on 8 or sort of the units that you want to close your board. I know Samira was really bad last patch, but if you're playing Street Demon, it'll allow you to hit Samira on 8. It's not going to happen every time, but you're much more likely to hit those 5 costs on 8. Uh, so, Treasure Armory. This one is really interesting. I have the loot table here. Um, this is sort of similar to playing with a wandering train. I mean, the real thing about this is you can get spat or pan really easily at the end of stage four. I mean, 2%, 2%, 2% to get spat or pan. And you have like the Chaos Dragon, and that has spats. And then you have the Order Treasure Dragon, also spats, and crazy loot. So in the Treasure Dragon portal, you're going to be able to go for really, really high cap boards. And I think Wandering Trainer is really good on portals like this as well. Because let's say you hit Anima or Street Demon off your portal or off your dummy, and then bam, you get here. Just make sure you save a component for your Street Demon or Anima Spat, and preferably a Reforger in case you hit Spat instead of Pan. And then, yeah, it just allows you to hit these chase traits really, really consistently. Because it's not going to take you that much gold to hit or Spat or Pan. I think on average it's between like 10 and 20 gold to hit at least one Spat or Pan. So, yeah, I think that's something that should definitely be taken into consideration on these portals. Treasure Armory again, 2-star shops. Yeah, this is sort of like having Starry Night, but it can work with all levels. Honestly, this portal I think is really unfun, and if you hit, oh, went to level 8 and rolled 3 times and hit 2-star, I don't know, MF, who I was angling towards, like, it's kind of ridiculous, but I think reroll is also good in this. All comps are sort of good in this portal, but it's sort of just lucky. If you hit your units or if you don't hit your units, your game can become really hard or really easy. Loot sub. Um, this portal's been around forever. I think in this portal, it's really important on 2-1 to not take your augment first and just scout and see what the first drop is. That being said, I see a lot of people going for things like vertical anima, vertical street demon, because you have a good chance of getting spats and pans off of the loot sub. I think what's underrated is rerolling in this galaxy. I had a game um, last set actually where I was playing Nocturne. Actually, no, I had one. I had one this set as well where I decided to just angle fiddle from 2-1, and I got dropped three artifact anvils, so I got to put double snipers on him and intervening locket on Cho, and yeah, my board was incredibly strong. So I think reroll is really underrated in loot sub, as it's also usually uncontested because most people are going for vertical comps, but vertical comps are really strong, so it does make sense. But if everyone's going for vertical comps, um, there aren't that many, so be careful of getting super contested on portals like this. Prismatic Finale, Prismatic Party, Prismatic Prelude are all just standard games of TST with a Prismatic. If you're only getting one, if you're on Prismatic Finale, it's generally best to take a combat. Um, Prismatic Party, it's good to take a mix combat, probably double combat, one econ. You could also go triple combat depending on your spot. Um, Prismatic Prelude, I'd be wary of taking econ at 2-1 unless like you have the economic hack on the far left that gives extra gold, because that could be really good. But other than that, I would be skeptical of taking econ at 2-1 when if everyone else takes combat, um, you're basically down a combat prismatic, and that's obviously not good. But um, if you don't get offered prismatics the rest of the game, and you get prismatic into gold, you're gonna be really far behind in terms of the power of your board unless you make it to like level 10 with a bunch of 5 costs. Scuttle Puddle we already talked about when we talked about Crab Rave. And Trainer Golems, I think it's really good to. I mean, this portal is just RNG, honestly. Like, most high elo players do not like playing this portal because it's just lucky. Do you hit a good trainer or not? Um, I think it's good to sometimes just commit to one of the emblems. I know I see a lot of people try to like, oh, I'm in the team planner flexing all these units to try to get perfect synergies. Like, occasionally, it's okay to just play one of the traits. Um, you don't have to play them all. I saw Dish So play a game yesterday, I think, where he just took Bruiser and Syndicate. Like, he completely ignored his third um, emblem, and you don't have to use all three of them. And I see a lot of low elo players really trying to flex into using all three of them. It's okay to use two, and it's okay to even use one. And this portal is partially luck based. You could have like the worst trainer golem of all time and just be playing for a 6 from the get go. Most highly elo players don't like this portal at all. I do think that occasionally you'll hit a trainer golem that leads to, you know, a unique situation where you can try something new, but most of the time you're usually using one, maybe two of the emblems. So yeah, I sort of just wanted to talk about all of these different portals and how I think about the game going into them. Feel free to comment below if you disagree with any of my takes, or if you agree with them, or if I helped you learn something. So yeah, I'm going to include all the links below, and good luck on your climb. Peace.